Welcome to In the Crease with Ztending. I'm your host, John Ztending&quot. This is my co-host, Lou Luttrell. We are presented by Goalies Matter Clothing. Man, we have an awesome interview for you guys here today. We have Trevor Babin, longtime Ztender, Z family, and we did an awesome video analysis where we're looking at adaptive edges for adjusting into your angles with one of my Protect Junior Ducks, Dakota Meyer. So hey Lou, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, disappointing last week, man. Both Wolves junior teams out of the playoffs. It was a rough series for both teams, just tough grinding games. And very, very close games, both games, and they just didn't unfortunately pull through. That's hockey though, right? Sometimes you play well, sometimes you don't. And we're plagued by a little bit of injuries and a game suspension for one of the players, but it is what it is. It was a good season. Goalies had a great season. Team had a great season. EHL team they were saying one of the best that they've ever had. So, couldn't ask for more. Maybe a better result, but definitely a good season all around. What about the Protect Ducks over there? About the same, huh?
We were flying high, man. Crazy win streak, and you know what? Like, it was a tough 2-game loss. We got swept by Little Flyers, and they were hard fought games. And it was so much fun being on the bench with that team. It's been a while since I was been on the bench with a junior team. It was back when the Trent Habs were around with Eric Brule and Oktay Armagon. Yeah, what's that?
So it's a little different than the U10s, huh?
Yeah. So what I'm used to coaching is squirt hockey U10, but no, it's great to be on the bench with the junior team, and I love the energy. I love the junior energy. Being on a D1 women's team bench and junior bench, it's completely different. They're both high energy. Just the junior boys hockey is just a little bit dumber hockey than the D1 females hockey. But man, you got to love the kids. I mean, they go, Ferta, of course.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the playoff hockey. It's, you may not see some of that all season long, but it comes to the playoffs and you got guys grinding and trying as hard as you can. I gotta shout out real quick to Frankie Williams, one of our forwards. I think he blocked 5 shots in a penalty kill shift, just right after another, just getting down right in front of shots, sacrificing himself for the team. It was an amazing shift he had there. So I gotta throw a little shout out to him, fellow firefighter, volunteer firefighter from Pennsylvania. So that's where he's headed back to.
Love it. I mean, every goalie loves, a player that's going to sacrifice their body for.
Oh yeah, he was laying out in front of the shots. He was
just 5 shots in one
in a row. They were just back to back to the point, shot, block. It was a pretty good shift.
So how are your Lakers doing?
They're doing. They did well. I think. It was actually, I think all the teams made it to the state tournament. The Pee Wee team ended up winning, but all the other teams, they either made it second place, third place. It was a pretty successful season. It's good for them. I saw a lot of them, especially the younger 10U kids, come a long way over the course of the season learning skills. So it's definitely a successful season for all them as well.
It's really fun watching the younger kids, and as I coached the Squirt New Jersey Stars team, it's so much fun to see younger kids get so much better so quick, and it's so much fun to throw elaborate plays that maybe like kids might learn in high school, whatnot. You throw them at these kids like a hinge play or a reverse in a breakout, and they just soak it up and then they use it. I'm like, all right. Like, what else am I throw at you? And most of the times when I teach those things to those kids are usually on my iPad during the game. I'll say, hey, I'll draw it out for them. This was the situation you were just in. This is another option. We can do this and this. And this is what's called a hinge play. This is what's called a reverse, and then they're like, oh, okay. And then they start to learn all the terminology. I mean, it's so funny because I remember there's this one time, there was icing, and one of my kids, he's like, "Coach, what's icicle?" I was like, "Hey, bud, I think you mean icing." And explained to him what the rule was,
Yeah.
and it was I'll always think of it as icicle now. It's forever icicle.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah,
hilarious. Yeah, kids and terminology and learning the rules.
yeah. Speaking
It's
of which,
fun.
my with my squirt team, shout out to my squirt goalies. They only let in one goal in 2 games, and yeah, I gave them the option of I gave my goalies the option what they want to do. If they want to take full games, and so that way they back up for a whole game, or they split games, and then we can rotate who starts. So they actually came. We were rotating games for a while, and then they came up with the decision that James Yin wanted to start, and Christian didn't really want to start. He just wanted to back up. So for here on out. I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do and that's what you feel comfortable doing, and that's the amount of time that you have to, give your full effort. I'm good with that. And it actually works out so perfect because I was so against the full games with the goalies or half games with the goalies because I like when the kids have to sit out a game and it's just teach them that part of the game early on.
Mhm.
And at times, but we're not going to we split some games as well. So we just pick, which as far as our league and non-league games, um, which we have. But they came up with their own, and was I loved it.
That's
So they
awesome
are
that they're
so comfortable where they are right now.
yeah that they're able to come up with that on their own,
Uh,
and let you know. That's awesome.
yeah. So listen, we have Trevor Babin,
Oh yeah.
and this is exciting. Man, this kid, his family very close to mine, and um, Z family. That they are. I've known them since the very beginning, since they started, and it's really cool to see how he has evolved from when he first started playing. Lives in Philly, and started with Snyder hockey, and now is when in his first full year of pro hockey. So
Yeah,
it's
that's an
so
amazing
exciting.
process he goes through.
Yeah. It just goes to show that everybody has a different journey too.
Oh
And,
yeah.
you have to pave your own road. It's
Hmm.
good to learn, all the different ways that people have gone. And you're always going to, and the 24 years that I've been coaching, I've been learning in so many different paths, and I keep on hearing new and new and newer different ways.
Oh yeah.
So it's pave your own way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's not one set way to get to the pro level anymore. You got guys coming in from leagues and all over the world coming in the pro hockey. So it's not set in stone. You got to go D1 pro hockey anymore. It's D3 straight from juniors. They're coming from all over the world now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely are. All right, well, let's get to that interview. We have Trevor Babin. All right, Z Tenders, we have a special one for you here. Man, this kid, multiple Silver Stick champion, USHL Challenge Cup champ with also EHL champs with the Revs. This kid, played juniors for the GMHL for the Bradford Rattlers. The kid was nominated for Goal of the Year and won it 1 year. Also MVP of the whole entire season. All-star 2 times in that league. He started from Snyder hockey. Now he's a pro hockey player. Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Babin.
Hey, thanks for having me, Z.
Hey
How are
man,
you, man?
listen, typically how we start this off, we talk about your youth hockey career, and you started with Snyder hockey. Kind of go through your development, when you started, where you
Right.
started, and what led you to where you are now.
Um, well, growing up in Philly, I trying to start out with hockey. I was introduced to the Snyder program. I was just my dad actually took me to a local rink, and that was the Northeast Flyer Skate Zone. And I think I was like 8 or 9 at the time. Went in there, and my dad was just like, "Hey, can we get this kid some pads or whatever?" I think that's actually when I met you and Bree, which is pretty cool. And I remember getting equipment like the next day, and it just felt so natural to get on the ice. And
Yes,
just stopped playing. So
at that time, my
you know
wife
what I
Bree,
mean?
she was the equipment director.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
so
what it was. Right.
she was the one that that your dad went to, and
Yeah.
also at that time I was helping out as the goalie coach for like 2 or so years.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Pop would remember more than I do, but he, yeah, I remember it being just so like easy to kind of just get into hockey. You know, it was like the gear was just given to me right there, and then the coaching, like you said, you were there, so it was like kind of just natural for me to just start it. And then as I started to grow with hockey, the program definitely started too, and I started getting into the champions program that they had, and like all the little academic stuff that they had going on. Like the program just grew, and it like brought more kids in from the city and stuff like that. So it was really cool to be a part of.
And before we get into post Snyder hockey and then more into your junior career and after that, there's one interesting thing to note is that you are a full right goalie,
Yes,
right? But
southpaw.
you didn't start out as a full right.
Nope. I my first probably 3.5 years of playing goalie, I started out regular, and it wasn't until
Normal. We
yeah,
just say it
normal,
as it is.
regular,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, normal, regular, whatever. Full wrong. That's right. That's what you and Forrest said. um, yeah, and then it was I think it was like my little brother had a set of, because he's a lefty, he had a set of southpaw gloves in our basement, and we had like a little mini hockey set. And I remember I put them on one time, and I was just playing goalie with southpaw gloves, and it took it probably was like a couple tries before I actually was like, okay, maybe I want to like try it on the ice. Because then that's when my dad would like question me and be like, how are those? Like they're brand new. Like we could definitely use those, but they're the wrong
Yes.
hand, right? So
So it's so funny because I remember your dad. You were a peewee, right? And this is when you made the
yeah.
switch. Your dad came to me. He's like, "What do you think if I switch him over? Do you think that'll help or hurt him?" I'm
Hell
like,
yeah.
"Well, it's not going to hurt him. It's
Yeah.
if
I'm
it
still
works, it
young. Yeah.
works. If it doesn't,
Yeah.
well then go."
Yeah.
Funny thing is too. I actually started out. My first set of gloves were full right gloves. And so
Yeah. I remember
I'm
you mentioning me that
ambidextrous.
before.
So I write with my left hand, I bat left hand, but I throw right. So and I play hockey left, I
Yeah. Yeah.
golf
Yeah.
left. So they're like I do a lot of things like back and forth. We grow up in a right-handed world and I'm a lefty, so I learned to do both. But I switched over to really quickly to regular because I
Right.
I couldn't do it as a
Well,
righty.
yeah, because you also the theory behind it was too, because I'm everything right-handed. I can throw right-handed, catch right-handed, I kick right. Everything is dominant on my right side, right? So I once we put the gloves on and everything, actually, before I even get into that, I remember my first time being on the ice with him, and I went to like this under 18 like all girls camp or something like that. It was at the skate zone, and I think Bree was actually there too. That's why it was like an opportunity for me to get on the ice. And I remember like crying because I couldn't stop a puck because it just felt so weird at first. Like I still remember the feeling and like the shame in myself that I was just like
I
sucking. Like I just wasn't doing good. You know what I mean? I was only like 12, whatever the hell how
Yeah,
old
no,
I
I
was. But
remember that camp. That's when Bree and we were running the Slex girls program, and we had it was it was for girls under 18. We actually had a lot of girls from that program go on to become D1 hockey players, and
for real.
one of note, came to become a couple of them actually play pro hockey, and one being Kelsey Colzer, who's like a
Oh, for real.
yeah, big advocate. So like she was one of the ones that was shooting on you. She was a beast. This girl, no lie, right? She was
No way.
13 playing U19 hockey, and she was one of the biggest kids on the ice at 13 years old. She ended up
Yeah, those
playing
girls
at
were
Princeton
huge, man. I
University,
remember that.
and just a beast. So, even though that was a crazy, awkward transition for you, you were going
Yeah,
against some kids with some sick shots and
yeah.
very talented players. So
I
after Snyder
was
hockey,
devastated.
after Snyder hockey, where else did you play?
After Snyder, I started to play for the Blazers at the time because they were at the skate zone too. But as Snyder program got bigger, they transitioned into the DVHL also. So now I was basically playing for two teams in the DVHL. So I had to choose one or the other basically. And I went with the Blazers. And that was not a bad decision at all. I mean, I don't see how it would be different if I stayed with Snyder. I mean,
They were the stronger program and more established program at the time.
I think it was like I got invited to play for like their Squirt double A team two before all that stuff. So it was like, yeah, so I just ended up going there. But I remember they were a losing team at the time. They were like 0-20 or something like that. In my first game in, we tied like 3-3, and they thought I was like the shit. You know what I mean? So so it was like, okay. So that was a good start. And then it was like I remember it was a President's Day tournament after that. And we ended up like winning the whole thing, and we only lost like one game, and it was like the team's ever like first championship, and it was just like some big deal to the program. So after that, the team was just like winning. We just started my PBAA year. We won like three different fucking tournaments. Sorry, three tournaments.
It's all good.
Won like three tournaments. We made it to playoffs. We won like I think we won the league championship that year. I'm trying to remember. That was a dream team for a while because all of us kind of the guys who were on that team grew up together too. We were playing together from the time we were 12 till 16. You know what I mean? So it was like
you don't see that as much anymore. Like, and that's like old school thing. And that's, you can have a team that is not as talented as others, but have much more success because they have a good, strong nucleus, and they have they know. So, well, look at this. I mean, this is kind of unfair, but the Sedin twins, they were known to be. They had the sixth sense, know where each other are because they play together their whole entire lives. So it's only natural if you keep a group of players together, a good nucleus, you have a good team.
Yeah, and we had I think it was like, I can just give you some names. Tyler Growski. Blaze Ferris, Ryan Ferris, those guys, they all played together from the time they were like 8 years old till however. And then when I came in, then it was me, Eric Melso, Peter Botor, and like John Verrecchio. So then when all of us were together, we played like the next 4 or 5 years together. So we just kept winning. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. I remember like all the tournaments going to Port Huron, which is actually where I'm at now. Right. And so
you played a little bit with Titans and Revolution, in your juniors, and then you end up going up to Bradford Rattlers in the GMHL, the Greater Metropolitan Hockey League. What was it like playing in the GMHL in Canada?
Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't know any leagues in Canada besides the OHL. So the fact that a league in Canada was hitting me up anyway, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And come to find out, it wasn't. The league kind of has a bad rep just for, I guess, it being. I couldn't really, because my 3 years being there, the league got better as I went on. It was like there was guys coming in from the OJ. There was guys that were basically cuts from the OHL that would come down and were playing, and it was like, I mean, when I played, it was good hockey. So I don't see where the bad rep came from.
Well, your coach had ties overseas too.
Yeah, my coach was Rick Jackman. He won a Stanley Cup with Anaheim and stuff. So he was a cool guy, but that brought a lot of attention to the team also when I got there. So it was like me, the coach, and then it was like two other guys that were coming in from like me coming from the EHL after winning the championship there, and then like two other guys that were coming in that were like from other big teams or something like that. But all of that kind of brought attention to Bradford in Ontario, and it was cool. So it was once I got there, it was just nothing but success there too. So
now you're with the Elmira Enforcers in the FPHL.
Yep.
So now you sign your pro ticket, and you were with them for a little bit last year, right after your final season of junior hockey. Now this is going to be your first full season of pro hockey. Um,
Yep.
what you have an interesting dynamic right now that you're going through. Explain your current position with the team.
Okay. So, I mean, I can just put it out there. I'm probably the fourth string goalie right now. Um, and I'm still very confident that I'll still win a spot by hopefully the end of the season. But with the COVID season going on and everything, other guys' leagues were canceled, and I was coming in to battle out the starting position. And because the goalie that was here last year, he was actually playing overseas. His season got canceled because of COVID, so he had nowhere to go. So he came back. Okay, and then another goalie that's I think he played a couple games in the coast, and he played in the SP last year, but he was on a loan from another team, so he's here too. And then their backup from last year is here also, so it's us four, and it's like there's no bad blood or nothing. We all support each other, and it's all attendee love. So, but I'm definitely still here to compete and win that spot over. So, um,
So you're you're
just
you're
with
in a
doing
unique
that,
situation, and
correct,
I love to hear that there's no bad blood, and goalie nation, we should all strive to work together and
right,
not have any ill will, because we're all competing for the same spot. And
hmm
it sometimes things go our way, sometimes they don't, and you're in a really
right.
interesting spot where I love how you're going about it. You're being patient, you're working
That's all you
hard,
got to
and
do too, is work
you're
hard and be
earning your
patient.
spot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
you definitely just got to not keep your head down, but I mean, just make sure you're staying in your lane and you're doing what you got to do to try to be successful. And that's the thing with all four of us is like, I mean, our starter, he has a Memorial Cup ring. You know what I mean? Like the next guy down, he played D1 NCAA, and he's played in the SP in the coast. Like next guy down, he just came back from the SP. So, and then there's me, and I'm the youngest guy by a couple of years. So it's like these guys have a resume, and like we've all had success in our careers. So it's cool that when we do get to play or it's practice and stuff like that, like it's all just nothing but love and support, and like just trying to be better than the next guy. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's all cool.
Lou, you got anything?
No, that's awesome. It seems like it creates a good, healthy, competitive environment between you guys.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's really cool. It's I mean, even in like the gym and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll be in the gym with them. But like just doing like mobility stretches, or even if it is working out, like it's all good conversations.
Awesome.
There's no awkwardness. You know what I mean? There's none
Yeah.
of that like where you suspect somebody not liking you or something. So it's cool.
It's healthy competition, the way it should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, exactly.
And when this happens, you have healthy competition. You guys are all going to be mentally healthy, and in a positive mindset and working
Right.
together. Obviously someone has to take the reins, and that goalie may not have the reins the whole time. That's the way it goes.
Exactly.
It's a roller coaster ride, and you just have
Yeah,
to be ready when it's your turn.
exactly. And coming into this weekend, because the one goalie actually just got back from the SP, um, we got three goalies that are on this road trip now because we're playing 3 games in 3 days. So um, our starting goalie played Friday, and he did real well. It was we won 3-1, just barely snuck it out. And then last night we actually lost 5-3, and our backup played. So I'm hoping I get to start today, just because it's a 3-3, and then we play Wednesday Wednesday against Carolina, and then we leave Wednesday night or something like that to come all the way to Columbus or something like that. So, and for another 3-3. So
So
it should
what's
be
the
fun.
Okay, so I do have to bring this up because it's also a good talking point. Um, you've had your fair share of run-ins with the other team in your youth hockey career. Breaking other players' sticks and and
Yeah,
getting a tussle. With kids. You're a very hockey's a fast-paced, emotional sport, and you play with
right.
your heart on your sleeve for sure, and you definitely give everything for your team, and
Mm,
and you also don't take anything, any guff from the other team, and you're
right.
always stand your ground. Now, definitely as a youth player, you've crossed some boundaries,
Stepped
but
over the line a little bit. I know.
for sure, right? But
Yeah,
the breaking the kid's stick over your own net was I thought was hilarious, a little messed up, but
I did it a couple of times.
yeah, I know. But hey, listen, the cool thing though is, man, with all of our Z tenders to watch them grow and mature, and it's been really cool to see you, mature and well. What do you think are some of first of all, and speaking of which, your high school, your hero goalie growing up was Ronnie Hextall, so no
There you
surprise
go.
that you played, maybe with a little chip on your shoulder. But
Exactly.
from your youth hockey to here now, and you're still progressing. What are some things that you really think that, you've really, looking back that you've worked on and really strived to progress?
Um, I think just kind of becoming who you are, like establishing who you are as a person. I mean, like I'm 22 now and I'm definitely like way more like I know my thoughts and know myself more than I do when I obviously was a kid and growing up. Like I didn't know certain things that you could do and could not do. And I thought like when I would I thought hockey was an escape for me growing up. Not gonna lie, times were hard and my mom and just being in the environment of Philly and all that stuff, hockey was the way I was able to take out my anger, you know what I'm saying? So it was I only saw it as that sometimes, and it would be a struggle going to a game mad or sad already and then just being like knowing you're gonna hit somebody or something like that, or going to the rink because you had a not so good day and whatever could happen. But it's like I think just definitely trying to know who you are and now knowing what you do in those situations and how you were able to kind of counteract with yourself and so you don't lash out at certain things or you don't um
You're clearing your mind much more
right,
instead of,
exactly,
as you're a
exactly.
kid, you have, even in as
And
adult.
as a kid you got so much going in your mind
Yeah.
because you're still learning, right? You're a damn sponge. Like you got so much going into your mind as a kid, and for me it was hockey and then like just different altercations in hockey and at home and then just in Philly in general. And it was like there was just a lot going on. So it was like, yeah, hockey was that escape to where if I was mad, I could take it out on somebody, you know what I'm saying? And
So like
but just with
let's
go
speak
ahead.
about a little bit and spread a little bit awareness of your mom. Love your mom, your
Yep.
whole family.
Shout out to
But
my mom.
so Mama Babs, she has RSD,
Yep.
which is the disease that attacks the nervous system. So at
Yep.
any given time, like her nerves could be firing way crazier than the normal person. So she can
Right.
feel like she's like on fire or whatnot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. So the RSD is a reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It's yeah, it's a nerve, skin, and bone disease actually, and she has like a couple other like other diseases that kind of make it worse than what it actually should be. But the fact that she has it full body and she has these couple other diseases that just like I said make it worse than what it should actually be. Um, yeah, it makes it hard. It's just like yeah, it's hard to explain, but yeah, it's the nerve. So like if I poke you, you're not gonna get a huge bruise on your arm. You know what I mean? You're not gonna certain sounds and vibrations and like lights and things because it's your nerves that it's all out of whack. So it's like anything can bother her at any given time. Anything can hurt her at any time. Like, so that's why she hasn't been able to go to a lot of hockey games. But
And
you know what I mean?
I've been around your family ever since you started the sport, and you know, especially, and now you're away, you know, and your sister also, Sydney, you know, also a full right goalie,
Yep.
very talented
She's the
goalie as
shit.
well. Yeah, she's killing it. And you know, I even, you know, I've been many times where I picked you guys up, and I still pick up Sydney to take her to lessons, stuff like that, and
Yeah.
try and help out as much as I can. You know, but it's you know, we all have, everybody has their challenges in life, and their obstacles, and it's really neat to see, you know, you grow into into from youth hockey and from Snyder hockey now into you're starting your pro hockey career, and it's
Yeah.
really neat to see. You know, I don't want to say overcome, because you still have a long journey to go, but to
Right.
see you embrace the process, and see
Yep.
your path along in Jersey. I think that's, as far as a coach, you know, and I've been coaching for 24 years now. I think that's one of the coolest things to see, is you guys grow
Yeah.
up and see your journey, and
Right.
it you know, it helps me learn a lot, because you know,
Yeah.
almost every journey of every kid is different.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's another thing. You can't, when you go to new teams and things like that, you can't be quick to judge people. You never know what they're going through, and or what battles in life they've had to overcome and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, I'm still overcoming things in my life, and yeah, it's yeah, yeah, it's cool.
Hard work pays off, man.
Hard work
Definitely.
definitely pays off. Yeah.
And goalies got to be resilient, have to have thick skin.
Exactly. Yeah, because we stand out a lot more. So.
Lou, you have anything?
No.
Yeah, that was pretty
Great.
good. Hey,
Yeah, it
listen,
was.
I mean, in a nutshell, you know, working hard, you know, again, not judging a book by a cover. You never know, you know, what anyone's going through. And that's a really, really important note, man. Listen, this has been a lot of fun. I can't
A lot
wait
of fun.
to see you when you get home.
Yeah.
Good luck this season, and we
Thanks,
really
brother.
appreciate you getting on here.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely be on again, and you know, we always appreciate you. So we've always loved you and always appreciate what you've done for us. So thank you,
Real
man.
quick before, and I'll have you have the last note here. And you
Yeah.
know, this is the question we ask all of our Z tenders: is what advice would you give to a young Z tender today?
Um, Definitely just to stay humble and work hard. I mean, if you stay quiet and let your hard work show and your play show, that'll do all the talking for you. You know, so just stay humble, stay in your lane, and just keep hustling, keep working hard.
Love it. Stay humble, hustle hard, man. Man, it's awesome to see, so you know, and hear different journeys of where all our different Z10s are coming from, and we have so many more to give you, but it's really cool to see Trevor's story, coming up from Snyder hockey, going through the junior ranks, you know, really killing it in the GMHL with the Bradford Rattlers, and then, you know, he transitioned into his pro year last year, like, you know, last half of the year, and now this is his first full season, and he's learning. You know, with COVID, league's not having a season, so there's a whole bunch of goalies, there's a whole bunch of players with nowhere to go, and it's just a trickle down effect. And there's an East Coast guy and an SB guy that got sent down over there, so he's just sitting back, watching and observing, and he has a lot to learn from some seasoned pro
Oh, yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see.
Oh yeah, and like Nora said a couple weeks back, he embracing the process, and that's what he's doing right now. Like he's taking the process day by day and learning as much as he can and putting in the work, and he'll be coming out on top here shortly, I think.
Yeah, and it was, you know, I talk with him often, and you know, he's just a family that I've known for a very long time, and it's very good to see how well he's matured over the years, and it, you know, really is a process. It really is you just take in as many of the experiences you possibly can, and really collect all the data. Your data that you initially get, and everything else, and everything you possibly can, and not try not to form an opinion too quickly. Not judge a book by its cover, and make sure that you are trying to think in more of a positive, forward thinking mindset. And just, you're going to have to take some punches, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's there's many potholes along the way, but like, you steer around them as much as you want. You're going to hit a couple, especially here.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in 95 295 down,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of construction.
And it's not too much different up here with frost heaves. So it's definitely bumpy road in life and in hockey, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, so we have a really neat Apex video analysis that we did this week. It's Dakota Meyer again, of my ProTech Junior Ducks, and it's an adaptive edge. Uh, you don't always push properly and you're not always going in the right direction, or maybe the puck changes direction really quick and gets redirected into a different area, and you're not quite square to the puck. So there's a way you can guide your energy to get square to that puck, and that's using an adaptive edge. And we're going to show you what that is in this next Apex video analysis. Enjoy. In this Apex video analysis, we have Ztender Andrew Sullivan working on a screen drill where the puck is being passed across to the top of the circle, and that player walks across, and Andrew's going to have to fight the screen and make sure that he holds his sight line as long as he can on the short side shoulder where the puck was coming from. Pass comes across. Super important to note here is he's getting his body in place while keeping the head in line to get proper sight line, eyes down the ice. Body shifts over so that way he stays with the angle of the puck. Once he sees the shooter commit, nice good push, shift over while staying, very important, staying low, setting the feet for the shot, and being able to drop down. So there's a lot going on in this sequence here. One of the main key points, again, is having a nice, good, symmetrical stance, gloves up and out together, keeping the eyes on the sight line as you push over. Make sure you're getting your body on the angle and not cheating just to see the sight line. Staying low in your stance. Shifting over and getting your head over as quick as you can. Maintaining a low, solid stance and setting the feet for the shot. And then adding on a nice knuckles down on top of it. Anything you'd like to add, Coach Lou?
No, I think he does a really great job when he's looking from one side of the screen to the other, picking the puck back up, because there's that split second where he loses the puck, but because he's doing everything right beforehand and afterwards, he's able to pick that puck up and get his vision right on the puck right away.
And yes, and once he makes that save, notice how he is rotating his head down with the trajectory of the puck. He's completely focusing on with that puck, moving his head, making sure that he's staying with it all the way through. Nice low base, good set feet, following that puck, and immediately watch how he's following that puck with his head. And then, of course, once I get that rebound, I'm going to finish it. Shout out to Ztender James Yin for the screen. And that's our Apex video analysis. And that's our Apex video analysis. Adaptive edge isn't necessarily something, it's just a guiding tool to guide your energy to correct a push or adapt to a push. And it's exactly what it's called, adaptive edge. We're adapting to a new angle, and we have to make sure that we can get square and get ourselves in the best possible position to cover up as much as we possibly can, aka box control. There's a lot of different ways. Normally when we talk about transitions, we always say lead with your hands, not just your hands, but your head and hands. So that way it brings your shoulders together. And if we can, in a perfect world and perfect goalie position, we want to create a perfect, or an isosceles triangle between our hands, our shoulders, and our eyes to that puck as much as we possibly can. And really getting on the angle and being square is the most important part of that. And then comes your depth, and now you can challenge, but you have to make sure that you're getting on the angle, you're getting square and getting those isosceles triangles, to the puck. And it's very, very important to make your life easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the camera angle you put that camera at shows everybody what exactly being flat means. Just because how it's facing on the angle, you can see Dakota slide over flat and adjust his edge, come back. So even if you're not in a butterfly slide right there, but you're standing up and you're flat, now you understand what being flat is and how much room it's actually giving up.
Yeah, and it's a world of difference. I mean, it's not even that he's gaining more depth. He's just using his edge to rotate him into a square position, and he covers up the whole net in a blink of an eye with that edge. So it really makes a good vision, from that point of view. We had Trevor Babin on, and we got to talk about his journey through youth hockey, with Snyder Hockey, Bristol Blazers, well, not the Bristol Blazers, the Blazers, and then he's with the Titans, Philly Revolution, winning championships, and then going playing juniors in Canada for the GMHL for the Bradford Rattlers. And then now with the Elmira Enforcers in the Fed, and doing his time behind some seasoned vets. And it's really cool to see, another like hard fought journey that's still in just the beginning phase. Like there's so much more life. I mean, he's still so young compared to these other guys. And it's, you've seen him. Yeah. He's tough to score on.
Oh yeah, he is. And let's not overshadow the fact that he went from normal handed to full wrong handed over the course of his career, and that's not an easy thing to do. Us, those of us that aren't ambidextrous. So
yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty big accomplishment to do in itself.
So there was, and we didn't talk about this in an interview, but there was this one time. We had clinic at Old York Road, and I missed those clinics. They were so much fun. And Old York Road's this really old rink. It's not even, it's done. It closed a couple of years ago, but it was literally right next to train tracks. And when I was a kid, it was actually just a roof. So when that train came blowing by,
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh man, it was so cold. It was the worst feeling ever. Oh, it was, I hated it. It was, just gives me nightmares. Just gives me chills. So, it's cool to see that journey, and the resilience that goalies need, and it really makes you such a stronger person, physically and mentally. It helps give you that extra in a gym. It helps give you that extra, in a classroom. It helps give you that extra on the ice, and everywhere else you need. Helps give you that extra, making sure that you're eating properly and sleeping properly, and being disciplined in all those things, because the resilience and then the hunger for it, wanting to get there. So, and he touches on a thing too, you never know what your teammates are going through. If you're moving teams or whatever, or even just your teams that you have now, you never know what, kids are going through at their home. So make sure that you are not judging a book by its cover, and make sure that you are staying positive and a listening, teammate, and able to accept, whatever, situation they're in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's, like you said, you never know where somebody might be in their personal life, and get to know them first before you make a judgment is huge. And it's, that's important outside of hockey as well. But
So
definitely
what's
the way you
our,
teammate.
so Lou, what's our mental motivation for this week?
So our mental motivation is, I'm going to focus towards the end of the season, and it's staying positive at the end of the season. If your season didn't turn out like you had planned, I know my goalies in both teams were expecting a big run in the EHL playoffs to Philly, and it didn't turn out like that. But when I sat down with them to do exit interviews, I said, look at where we were at the beginning of the year and where we are right now. There's a few of my goalies there that we worked a lot of kinks out of. Their game became so much better and so much more efficient in the process. So even if you didn't get the result at the end, you didn't get that championship, but you improved and your game got better and your team got better, that's a win in anybody's book right there too.
I mean, that's so true. It's, it's really sitting back and taking in all the information. And again, time in, time out, people will have something that's 95% full of positive, and then the 5% is negative, and they micro focus on that 5%, and they forget about the 95% that was positive.
Absolutely. And that 5% negative, when you focus in on it, it'll drain you. It'll stay with you for a while. So think about the positive things, right? So maybe some of the negative was a learning experience, right? Put that in your back pocket. Now you can learn from it, but there's 95% of the stuff that's positive. Focus on that too.
And that positive just shows all the training that you've been doing, and that you're currently doing, and what you're working to get to.
Absolutely. And if you got 95% positive on the air, it's a lot of attitude and effort you put towards that. Practices, private lessons, all that stuff, whatever you did to get better, coming out, taking extra ice time, doing all that stuff, working on what you need on the ice, off the ice, in school, right? That's an amazing feat if you improved in all those.
It's, and my squirt team hears me say this all the time. I was like, I talk about the only two controlled variables that you have. What are they? Effort and attitude.
Yeah.
Be a good teammate.
I think
Work
every
hard.
coach does that.
Man, like I just say it time in, time out. I'm like, this is the two. It works.
It does, and
it works.
It's true, right? If you have a negative attitude, that can eat a team apart, and if you're not giving an effort, that can also eat a team apart, and yourself as well. So,
well, listen, what a amazing episode! Another one. I mean, obviously, every episode's been amazing, and it's just exciting, endearing. Just loving to see all the positivity that we can spread from the different stories, from different Ztenders.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's our episode 6 of In the Crease with Ztending. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and share us around, so that way we can spread the word of what Ztending is all about. Thank you guys.
The season may be done, but we're not. We're coming at you with more episodes here. Stand by.
Yeah, a lot more to come.